Welcome back, you degenerates, to the special edition bracket breaking boys betting the diagonal one and only episode. I'm
That's a
so
lie.
I can't wait. If you guys haven't noticed, I did not 9 or 10 pages of notes today. I am ready to go. I've spent too much money on brackets. Boys, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling elated. That's the only term I can use right now. For the fact that actually, as elated as I am, I'm as upset
Elated.
that I have 2 days off of watching something that I've watched every day for the past 4 months.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with myself.
I know. What am I going to do tomorrow? Watch Liverpool?
No. No, you're not.
No, I'm not going to. That's the answer.
Got some a good NBA action.
I'm definitely not going to watch the NBA.
That's for damn sure. Morgan, how you feeling?
I'm ecstatic. I'm elated about what we have coming down the line for us. I've been waiting for this for freaking 24 months, basically. It feels like it's been an eternity since our last tournament game. I'm so pumped. We were sitting there today, and I texted both of you guys. We were getting ready for this call, and I was on my way back from the shore and everything else, and I could not wait. Even down there, I was sitting there all day just waiting to see some of these picks. I didn't realize, Greg, when I was talking about this, when you disappeared to go handle your business. We were talking that we didn't. It was a shame that the selection special was earlier instead of later. Instead of like a more prime time hour around 7 or 8 o'clock, so we could have all seen it. But it's a great day to be alive. We're so excited that it's back. I'm happy. I'm in my happy place. I'm sitting on my couch tonight because I just want to get comfy and just watch every game.
Yeah, I'm on the couch, and for the first time ever, Greg is in the office.
I'm in the office, baby.
We were supposed to have the free labor machine, also known as Sean, on the podcast, but a windstorm blew his internet out, and I know it to be true because I'm good friends with him, and a slight breeze turns his power off. So, unfortunately, he won't be here tonight. He was going to give us the nitty and gritty of which mascots he thinks make it, But, boys, I'm going to start it off. Let's keep it simple, boys. Who do you got? Who do you got to win the championship?
All right. I got two teams here that
only one of them can win the championship.
I know. Question.
One. Okay.
Who you got?
If I had to pick one, I'm gonna go Gonzaga.
That's my boy. What I love to hear.
If I had a second option
and a second gun to your head,
a second gun to my head, I would go Oklahoma State.
Ooh, I like that. Don't hate it. They had to get through Baylor again, but I don't hate it. Morgan, who you got? If you say Loyola Maryland, you're off. Loyola Chicago, you're off the show.
So it's really kind of upsetting to me because I'm still kind of reviewing the bracket and all. And the first two teams that jumped off the page to me that I'm looking at and seeing them getting there is Gonzaga and Oklahoma State.
So for sure, I
like those.
One of them.
I love Illinois, but I think Oklahoma State can take Illinois. I don't think Baylor is getting there. I think that Texas Tech is going to take down Baylor. Bama, maybe.
I like Bama. I think they're having one bracket in my final four.
I think Michigan goes down. If they don't go down to LSU in the 32, I don't think they get past Florida State. So I think Bama could come out of the East. I think Gonzaga has a pretty easy road to get there. I'd say Bama, Gonzaga, and OK State are the three that I think. I'm gonna, just for the sake of the episode and the show, and it's to be different, I'm gonna go Bama.
I don't hate that. I have them. The original bracket I did, the second I was able to, my final four was Gonzaga, Bama, Baylor, West Virginia.
I mean, the odds are we're going to be wrong, right, boys? We're not going to have a perfect bracket. You know why? Because, boys, you want to know what the odds of you having that perfect bracket is?
What?
What do you think
I
the
would
odds of that
love
are?
to know.
What do you think the odds are? Well, let me tell you real quick, all right? You have a better chance of, in this very moment, right now, getting struck by lightning, becoming president, getting attacked by a shark, all in the same life than getting the perfect bracket. The odds for you to get this perfect bracket are 1 in 9.2 quintillion
Now, how many
of getting
zeros
that.
is that? How many zeros?
It
Can
was
we
a lot.
find out?
I was just reading it off the Billy. It's a fucking long ass number. It was at least, hold on, let me try to remember. It was at least 16 zeros.
Wow.
A lot of
It just
zeros.
kept going forever. I didn't know quintillion was actually even a number. I thought numbers just stopped after trillion, pretty much. So after trillion, I just assumed it was infinity.
Yep.
It
I mean,
might as
as
well
we
be
know,
1 in
Morgan's not good at
infinity
math.
chances of winning. So your chances aren't right, But hey, if you get a perfect bracket, you're that 1 in a bajillion, kabillion, quintillion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'd love
mean,
to see it.
I spoke about it on the last episode. People can do their brackets all different sorts of ways. People who don't know, like there's people in our Ben diagonal bracket. They don't watch. Jared doesn't watch college basketball. He's gonna pick from the mascots. Somebody like me, I overthink things. I never do too well, but it all depends how you do it. Now, some
There's
people look at
only
stats. Some people
there's
look at
only
the history. What do you got, Morgan?
there's only one thing in life that is more of a guarantee than you not hitting a perfect bracket, and that's that Greg's guarantees are not gonna win.
That's fair.
That's it. That's the only other certainty in life. The only worst odds you'll ever find is taking one of Greg's guarantees for a ride to win. That's
That's
like
fair.
All right.
9.3 quintillion.
Like I was
Man.
saying, everybody does their bracket differently. You know, some people pick mascots, jersey colors. What kind of shoes people wear. One of my favorite things that I found, just researching how people do their brackets, is what kind of outfit the coach wears. Like what kind of tie he wears. Does he wear like a polo? Does he do? He's wearing sneakers, loafers. What kind of hairstyle he has? You never know. You never know. But do you guys use any of that silly stuff? Mascots. If you don't know the team, you were looking for an upset. Can't decide between two teams.
Oh,
No,
where do you want me to
never.
begin? I have so
Never.
many silly stats. I'm gonna filter them in, but I'll give you a silly stat right at the bat since we're kind of talking about uniforms and what coaches wear and different stuff. Fun fact, boys: 14 out of the last 15 champion teams, have had the color blue in their uniform in some fashion.
Yeah.
The only team that has not was Louisville in 13, and even that's questionable because that title was vacated. So we really could say 14 of the last 14.
That's a
Not
good
bad.
stat.
A great
Maybe that
stat.
means
Looks good for
maybe that means
Gonzaga.
something looks good for Gonzaga, not so
Looks,
good for Alabama and Oklahoma State.
yeah, looks good for West Virginia too.
All right, let's not get too crazy now.
Come on, man.
I'm colorblind.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to talk real quick about two teams that I thought got snubbed. First off, Belmont.
100%.
Oh my God, how do you win 26 games and not make it in?
Absolutely unbelievable. The fact that Drake gets at least the at large or the play in game and Belmont doesn't. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
Like I
See,
get you throw in Michigan State, UCLA, they're blue bloods. The names are massive. Okay, I get it. Come on, though. You're not gonna put Belmont in. That's unbelievable.
I don't feel too strongly about that as you guys do.
How dare you?
I really don't.
You
Just,
blasphemy.
I mean, for the fact that they fought their way to the championship game, they knew what they needed to do to get in, and Morehead State beat them, and now Morehead State's
Oh
in at a
fuck,
13
Morehead
seed.
State.
Whoa, that
Nah,
for
Let me.
fan,
Ask,
fans
I
know
just want to
that
ask you a
is
question, Greg.
yes. Okay,
Do you
sure.
think that a team who went 26-4, dominated all year, deserves to get in more than a team who struggled all year and just barely got in? Say,
I mean,
oh,
absolutely. I would love to see Belmont in over Rutgers. Like, I would love to see Belmont in over Clemson. I want to see Belmont versus Belmont instead of Clemson versus Rutgers.
amen.
I'd rather
See?
see Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Chicago State than
Yep.
Rutgers Clemson.
No, you wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't.
It would make for some entertaining
Well, like
basketball, I
even like this
suppose.
next team, like I think that this matchup would have been great. Belmont versus the next team I'm about to talk about is Colorado State. You know, they kind of did it to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that game against Utah State, you know it was a close game. I mean, most people didn't watch it. It was on until 3 a.m. East Coast time. But their best player in Roddy, 7 straight possessions, drove it straight to Nemus Keita, aka the best player nobody knows, and 7 times he got blocked. The guy ended up with 9 blocks. He single-handedly threw the game. I get it, but all year they were a great team. You know, I think they deserve to get in, and good for them that they still have a slight chance in case somebody gets COVID or something. They're
Mm-hmm.
still on standby.
Goodbye, Virginia.
Yeah. Goodbye, Virginia, possibly. No, they're most likely staying in, you know. Besides that, I just want to talk about some quick tournament trends as far as like the seeds go before we start running down games. I can't wait to get to games. The first one, at least one double-digit seed has made it to the Sweet 16 every year since 2018. It's 2008. The next one, 6 versus 11 seed games have been 50%, 14 for 14 since 2013. 7 versus 10. One of the most most people pick the 10 seed over the 7 seed. You know, it's kind of an even matchup. The 7 seed has won 99 times out of 64 times. So it's not as even keeled as you think. And 2 times at the last 5 tournaments, the 12 seeds have swept the 5 seeds, which is what I'm thinking is going to happen this year. If you guys look at one of my brackets, it's a little bit wild. Which one of those like 5, 5, 12, 6, 11, 7, 10 do you guys love to fade most?
Love to fade, as in
Like
fading the
like
5 seed.
fade the dog. Yeah.
Let me just make sure I have everything.
In
I have a full sweep of 12 over 5s.
That's my guy.
I didn't even realize I did. But at this current moment, I have a full sweep of 12 over 5s.
I have 3 out of 4 12s taking down 5s. The only one I have surviving is Tennessee.
Yep. Me as well.
That's the one I am up in the air about.
I'm up in the air about 2 of them because I think.
Fun fact, though, real quick, while we're talking 12 seeds, boys. Do you know what the furthest a 12 seed has ever gone is?
Elite 8.
The Elite 8, correct.
Loyal.
That was Missouri in 2002. The furthest a 12 seed has ever gone.
Loyal Chicago a couple years ago. What were they, an 8 seed?
They were 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. 13. I don't remember who they faced. But boys, are you officially ready?
I'm officially
Well,
ready.
Well, we want to talk a little bit more trends before we go into some of these games. I mean, boys, or do you just want me to throw one out there after every game?
Throw one out
everything.
there. I know you have a bunch of them. We got a lot. We're going through
stats?
all.
Oh, baby.
First off, real quick before we get into it, I'm going to break these down into different segments when I put them out onto YouTube, so you don't have to listen to us talk for 4 hours or 3 hours or however long this is going to go. I'm going to try to make it easier for people who are only looking for certain information, make life a little bit easier. But so every time we go through one of these regions, I'm going to stop and just fucking repeat that for you guys. But hit me with one more trend, then we're going to get into it, Morgan.
Let's do it. All right, boys, we'll do a little bit of an easier trend. Who's the lowest seed to ever win the title? What do you think it was?
Still doing the question game, dude? We just did it for an hour.
Fine, whatever. Lowest seed that's ever won was an 8 seed.
It was UConn.
Villanova in 1985.
It was Ralph Sampson on that team, right?
And I swear to God, I'm going to get triggered at this nonsense.
Who was it?
Villanova in 85 as an 8 seed.
Oh, that's typical. You just pull up a Villanova stat.
That is the lowest seed to ever have won the tourney.
Fun fact, you're going to hear a lot about Ralph Sampson, a lot about Kemba Walker, and a lot about UConn. because we just while like trying to figure out like how we were gonna record, see if Sean was coming, we did a nice little like Family Feud edition of just like basic fucking trends and stats and whatnot, and we're of the opinion that Ralph Sampson and Kemba Walker are the greatest two players to ever play a game.
Absolutely.
Boys, without further ado, let's kick it right into the West. Gonzaga's gonna win, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I would say so.
Don't you have that stat that only one seed is lost, and that was Duke?
135-1.
Yeah. This
One seed has lost. It was Virginia.
Oh, Virginia, right? What was I gonna say? This is the only team in NCAA history to have 3 players in the top 25 win award race. It's impressive.
Very.
They have 3 NBA players on their team, ready to go. And I talked about this last time, but for those who you weren't listening to a regular show, I know this is special edition. I know this is prime time. Last time Duke and Kentucky both were out of the tournament was in 1975, and that same year Indiana ran the table, went undefeated, and won the big dance. So shout out to the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Hopefully they win it because we kind of want them to. But without, they're going to win this game. There's nothing to say about it. You skip over it. For the 1 seeds, for the most part, we're just going to skip over them, boys and girls. There's a lot of games we got to get into. The next one, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be Oklahoma versus Missouri, 8 versus 9 seed. We're going right through the bracket, the way you read it on your computer. You're not going across. You're going straight down and to the left side. This is going to be the Sooners versus the Tigers. We're going red and white jerseys, black and yellow jerseys. You want to talk about some suits? I got suits for every single coach. Every coach, hairstyles, whatever you need. Old school suit guy for Oklahoma. But he could have a heart attack because he's so old. Missouri coach, from what I noticed, scrolling through Google, scrolling through old tape, almost always wears a matching tie with his home and away jerseys. A little something you might want to look into.
Oh, that's big time.
I love it. Dude, you're going to love some of these. I didn't know you didn't get a chance to read them all. You're going to love some of these. The last time and the only time these two met in the tournament was in 2002, and the Sooners won 81-75. Who do you guys like? If you guys have a reason why, let me know. Let's start with Morgan. What do you got?
I like Oklahoma. I was on Oklahoma earlier this week for conference type games and everything. I stated on our last episode of Bang Diagonal that I like Oklahoma because they were only a top 10 ranked team only a few weeks ago. They ran into a little bit of a tough stretch. However, I think they're the better team. They're a more consistent team right now. And I just think they can take them down. Plain and simple. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I'm not going to go nuts. I'm going to go with what my gut says on this one.
Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to side with Morgan here as well. I like Oklahoma.
I got to switch.
You're starting that already? You're starting that already?
Okay.
Yeah, but I like Oklahoma to take down Missouri just for the fact that Oklahoma is the more consistent team, like Morgan said. The Big 12 is a ton stronger than the SEC, I would say. And, I think they got a good lie here for the fact that they're an 8 seed starting out against the 9. I mean, actually, I think now that I look at it, they got a terrible lie for the fact that when they beat Missouri, they're going to have to go up against Gonzaga. And nobody wants to do that until it's a championship game. So I think they get through Missouri just for the fact that they have a pretty upperclassman-esque team. With Brady Manick, Austin Reeves. These guys are bad men. When it's time to take these boys to the hard court, they make it happen. And they're playing team outside the Big 12, so I think they're going to fare well.
Yeah, I'm on the same side, and I do think, for all the reasons why you guys are, so I'm not going to get into it. If I disagree, I'll state my reasons why. I think that actually, I don't hate their live against Gonzaga. I think out of this whole region, they're probably the most equipped to beat Gonzaga because they do have the experience and they do play as a team and they do play defense.
Mhm.
But I do think Gonzaga eventually beats them. But if Gonzaga can get past Oklahoma, I think it's pretty smooth sailing for them to get into the championship round. Next one, we're gonna go right into that dreaded 5 versus 12, and I know we talked about this a lot right before we started recording. This is our second favorite game, second favorite 5-12 game for sure.
Mhm.
Creighton Blue Jays against the Santa Barbara Gauchos. I think it's like I'm not really sure what a Gaucho is. It's blue and white versus blue and gold for those people who are just choosing colors. Um, Allegedly, Doug McDermott's a racist. Neither here nor there. I didn't say it. The media said it. Santa Barbara, the coach is like a plain suit guy. You know, it's not like he's like a men's warehouse suit guy. He's not tailored. It's nothing special. You know, plain blue tie. Very simple man.
Love my meat and potatoes kind of guy.
That's all he
Mhm.
is. That's all he is. Um, Creighton got embarrassed in the Garden the other night to a scrappy little Georgetown bunch. And Santa Barbara's a top 100 team. They're ranked 89th in the country, like as far as like the true rankings go.
Mhm.
They really had no problem beating anybody in their conference. They let one slip, but besides that, I don't see any mishaps with them. What do you guys got? Let's start with Greggy.
Yeah. So I have UC Santa Barbara for the upset win here. Uh, in terms of spread on this game, it's 7. So I think that's way too much. Um, Santa Barbara, they can shoot the ball. And supposedly so could Creighton until they couldn't halfway through the season. And they've just been in a slump of all slumps. And, they struggle to put up 60 points on nights now. It's crazy. Um, so I'm going to take Santa Barbara for the win here, 12/5. Um, I think that they step up for the occasion.
Morgan, what do you got?
This sucks. I also like Santa Barbara to win this game. As I'm kind of rolling through it as well. Creighton's coming off just an embarrassing shellacking to Georgetown. Santa Barbara has been playing very well. Um, I have some interesting little tidbits about Santa Barbara. Um, one of the things I really like right now is they protect the ball a little bit more than Creighton does. Right now, going head to head, turnovers per game, Santa Barbara would be 10.8, whereas Creighton would be 11.1. So it's not a huge difference, but that one turnover there could be, that's going to be a 3-point play very quickly going on for them for each team. Creighton, on paper, should be the better team, but I think with everything, all the outside noise going on with McDermott, with just getting embarrassed by Georgetown, that's a fragile team right now for sure. So I'm going to roll with Santa Barbara.
Yep. I mean, I'm on the same thing once again. I promise you guys that listening, we are on separate sides with some of these games.
Mhm.
It's still early. Don't worry. I am on the fence about this. I think it's an iffy game because I do think that Creighton could bounce back. But like you said, that outside noise, they haven't scored 60 points since that quote happened.
Mhm.
Like people like say, "Oh, it's just noise, just noise." It's not always just noise. Like that gets in the heads. It gets in people's heads. Um, I don't like it. I don't like it. It smells fishy. 5 versus 12 is always fishy. This is a year that last year I brought up that stat. They usually sweep the table. Last in 2019, not last year. Rest in peace. In 2019, the 5 seeds went 3-1. So I think this could be a year that they sweep the table again.
And fun fact about a 5 seed, the 5 seed is the only top 8 seed that has never won a title.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Ooh, yes.
like that.
Only seed of all time that has never won it. Back in the one that the most recent before that was the 7 seed, UConn in 14 was the other one that had not won.
That's not
Don't,
Kemba's team.
don't,
Not
not a
Kemba's team.
Kemba team. That's a Shabazz team.
That's
Shabazz
Shabazz team.
Napier.
Yeah. You got us excited though. Tell you
I
that.
know I did. I was holding that one in the holster, just waiting to see you two perk up a little bit.
Let's kick it right into the potential team that might not even play. It would be the Virginia Cavaliers versus the Ohio Bobcats. The Ohio Bobcats that beat our Buffalo team that we were so high on. Loved them. But, they came up to the occasion. Virginia's in that blue, white, and orangish, sporting the classics. And Ohio's in that green and white. There's something about that green. I don't know. I don't really like it. But, Tony Bennett always comes fresh, tailored suit, always looking good. And I have no idea who the Ohio coach is, but he looks like he got his suit at Macy's. So just watch out for that one, boys and girls. Just a side note about Virginia, they don't plan on traveling to Indy until Friday night because of COVID. They need to quarantine first just to get there, and then they have to test on Friday night and Saturday morning because they have a 2 o'clock game. I think the coach said it was on ESPN before.
It's
There's a lot of
7:15.
7:15 game. Beautiful. So they do need to have 2 days of COVID-free tests there and 7 days clean. Who knows if they can do that? Yeah, Virginia's the slowest team in the country. They went back to it. In the middle of the year, they were starting to pick up some pace, and they just decided, hey, we're going to slow it back down. Dead last and pace of play. Morgan, what do you got? Tell me why. You don't have to tell me why.
I'm going to be on Virginia in this game. It's an interesting game because they're two polar opposites. Ohio is a big, high-scoring team. Virginia is more of a defensive team. Ohio scores 80.4 points per game. Virginia only gives up 60.5. It's strange. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. I think where it'll come down to big time too is the experience that Virginia has had in the tournament the past few years is going to go a long way. I know they don't have a lot of those guys who've been there as long anymore, but they have a coach who has been through it, who has won a title recently. Another thing I think will be really big in this game, Virginia has a higher defensive rebound per game at 24 rebounds per game. And their turnover percentage is lower. It's about a full percentage point lower than Ohio's is. So it's going to go a long way. I think this is an easy Virginia win.
Greggy.
Yeah, I guess this is our first disagreement.
Thank God.
And we love to see it. I'm going to go with the Bobcats in this game. A little 13-4 upset action. I was really impressed with how they played against Buffalo. I was really impressed with how they played against Toledo.
Toledo.
Fuck Toledo. They suck.
They hurt my feelings.
I agree. They hurt my feelings as well because I thought we were going to see a Toledo-Buffalo matchup for the MAC title. We did not because Ohio had something to say about it.
Toledo in the tournament.
Yeah, okay.
Don't worry. They're almost a lock to win the NIT, bro. Almost guarantee.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I think Ohio's scoring is going to be a problem for Virginia. Although Virginia has that lockdown defense, and sure, they take up a ton of clock on the other side of the ball on offense, I think it just comes down to Ohio hitting more shots. And the X factor in this game for me is the point guard matchup. For the fact that Jason Preston, that ball runs through him all game long. He's a 6'4" point guard who reminds me a lot of LaMelo Ball. The way he plays, the way he looks, he's got a lot of LaMelo Ball in him, and he's going up against Kaihi Clark all game long, who is 5'9". So there's a 7-8 inch differential in height there, and I think Preston's going to blow by him the majority of the game, and I think that's going to cause some foul trouble for Huff in the paint. And I can't even pronounce this other guy's name, Van something.
Just try it. Try it out.
Oh God!
Come on. See?
Yeah, I don't even have it in front of me anymore. But he's a problem as well.
Not that much of a problem.
He's a problem. I think this Ohio team is going to be a problem for Virginia, so I'm going to take them on the upset.
I don't hate that, especially that the fact that they won't be able to even get there. They might be a little jet lagged. They might.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't hate that. I'm gonna have them in one of my brackets. But for like the big money one I'm in, I'm keeping it safe. I'm taking the better team. I'm taking the team that plays in the major conference, team with the experience, team with the guy who can afford a tailored suit. I am going with Virginia and the Cavaliers on this one. Um, even though the Virginia pace, we'll talk about it more when the game comes up. Even though the Virginia pace is stupid slow, they've hit the over 4 more times than they hit the under this year. So I don't know if the number set at doesn't really matter tonight. We're not talking gambling. We're talking brackets. Um, there's a play-in game for the next one. I don't want because we'll talk about it on Tuesday, just because we're gonna have most likely have a
Mm-hmm.
play on it because we're gonna miss college basketball so much.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me who you think is gonna win that, and then we'll move on to the actual matchup. The first play-in game is gonna be Wichita versus Drake. Who do you guys got?
I got Drake.
Morgan?
Wichita.
Oh, I had Drake. All right. So since we have the
You hate to
matchups,
see it.
Morgan, since you're the differential, let's start with you. According to you, it's going to be USC versus Wichita. So it's
I
going to
do
be the
think
Trojans versus the Shockers. Red and gold versus gold and black. I don't know what kind of suit the Wichita man wears. I'm assuming it's decent, because they've been relevant. But the USC coach, slightly ugly, wears a nice classic suit, nothing crazy. But his wife, I want Morgan, you're on a computer, right? Go Google his wife. Smoking hot.
Dan
Smoking hot.
Piper.
USC leads the country in ducks. They have the Mobley brothers, both going to be NBA players. Do you guys think that Morgan, since you're first, do you think that Wichita is going to be able to beat USC?
No, not a chance.
Do you think that Drake would have a shot at beating USC? Huh?
Actually,
Huh?
I jumped the gun big time there.
Huh?
I do have Wichita State taking down USC. I don't know
Woo.
why. I went against myself real quick. I do have Wichita State taking down USC, and I had a reason behind it too. Where did I write it down? Give me one moment. I'm looking up his wife
All
now,
right.
so it
Whatever.
fucked me up a little bit.
Who cares what
Here
your
we go.
wife thinks?
So no. I got it. I'm back. All right. So fun thing with 11 seeds, right? So 11 seeds since. Oh, hold on, I just closed my tab. 11 seeds since the 2011 tournament are basically 500. They're 20-20 against 6 seeds. It's
That's
a
what I said
wash.
before.
Yeah, I'm repeating it.
Oh, take my
That's
stat.
Yeah, I'm repeating your stat because that's a huge stat to me. And I think Wichita State can take down USC. I do not think that USC is as good as it come out to be. Evan Mobley is going to be a phenomenal NBA player. However, his youthfulness and aggressiveness, I think, can get him in trouble in a game like this against a team that has seen some success in the tournament previously under the coach that they have. They don't have those guys there, but they have had guys who stay there for 4 years who have been on some of these teams that have made the tournament. They know what to do. They can get Evan Mobley to commit and get into silly fouls very early to get into his head a little bit. I think Wichita State can win that game for sure.
All right.
Greg.
All right. Like I said, I'm on the other side. I think Drake's going to win that game. And if they do end up winning that game, I would take Drake to take down USC for the fact that I think that Drake is a better offensive team. Um, Defensive side of the ball, I think Mobley versus Brody is a good matchup.
It
I think it's
is.
a really, really good matchup. I think Brody's somebody that can give him probably one of the toughest challenges he's had all year. Problem with Brody is he gets himself into a ton of foul trouble. Almost every single game, he has either 2 or 3 fouls by halftime. So that's something he's going to really have to commit to in this game is not, you know, draw fouls from Mobley early on. I think Drake has the better guard play, and like I said, they're the better offensive team. And I don't see USC, putting up like 65, 70, more than 65, 70 points. I
They
really don't.
struggle. They struggle to
Yeah,
put up points.
they
We
do.
talked about it a couple weeks ago when I gave you the stat that most of their unders hit. If it's under 138, I think it was the number, it hits
I
every
have
single
it
time.
right here. Oh, no, I don't have it because it's not available, clearly. Um, yeah, I just think Drake's the better team. And I think that if they do get through Wichita State, that they move on to the 32.
Yeah, I don't hate it for either matchup, to be honest with you. Wichita State knows how to get to the line. They they run it inside out, so they drive the ball a lot and then they kick it out. So you know, Mobley, I've noticed he does tend to reach. He does tend to jump. So if they get to the line, get him in trouble. There's not much else out there. Like they do have players. It's obviously a major conference school, but I they've grown so accustomed to playing with him all the time, or one of the two. So I'm going with the upset too. I don't know. I'm on the fence with who wins that Wichita Drake game. It's gonna be a very good game. I gotta do more research
Mm-hmm.
into it, to be honest with you. Um, let's kick it to the first three seed. We're gonna talk about bird on bird violence. The Kansas Jayhawks against the Eastern Washington University Eagles. Have that classic Kansas blue versus the red, white, and gray of Eastern Washington University, which actually at the gray jerseys, the roster gray jerseys, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Um, Bill Self, classic man. He's done this a million times. He's packing 12 suits for this. He's ready to go. The Eastern Washington University coach, classic suit, but every now and then he rocks the jumpsuit. So don't be shocked if he rocks the jumpsuit and the team's wearing the gray and red. I'd be worried. I'd be worried if I was Bill Self. That's all I'm saying. Let's kick it back to Greg. What do you got for me?
Yeah, as much as I would love to have an upset in this game, I don't. I'm going to go with Kansas in this game for the fact that I do think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to come down to the last couple minutes of the game, but I think that Kansas ends up pulling away. Uh, you know, watch Eastern Washington. They don't have a player over 6'8" on their team, and arguably the best player on Kansas's team is David McCormick, who is their 6'11" center. He's he's a big man, and he's going to give them trouble in the paint. He's going to eat up the glass. So I think Kansas is going to win, but if Eastern Washington wants to win, they better be hitting their shots from the outside.
Morgan.
Yeah, I am on Kansas as well. Again, like I said previously, and I'm sure I'll say 1,000 more times, you have tournament experience. You have a tournament-winning coach in Bill Self. That goes a crazy long way in my book. Additionally, let me just bring it back real quick. Yeah, like I said, I think that Kansas is a significantly better team. Eastern Washington shouldn't be here. Kansas is a strong defensive team as well, and one thing we've always talked about that really goes a long way for us is your offensive rebounds. Kansas has 30.2% offensive rebounds, whereas Eastern Washington is down around 22%. So you're looking at least an additional 5 possessions right there for Kansas in this game, which is going to go a long way. And then you just factor in the fact that the significant talent gap that there will be,
Mm-hmm.
that's all you need right there. Talent goes a very long way in a single something like this.
All I was going to add was going to be just the talent gap is just going to be too great.
Talent. And speaking of talent, because I haven't given a fun fact in a little bit now, let's talk a little fun fact about some talent, right? Boys, did you know out of the last 39 national champions, 37 of them have had at least one McDonald's All-American on their roster?
Ooh, that's not
Yeah.
bad. I like that.
You know who has a McDonald's All-American? Kansas does.
Kansas.
You know who doesn't have one? Eastern Washington.
Mm.
Sounds like one bird is going to violate another one. So it sounds like to me.
It certainly does. Rock chalk, Jayhawk.
Yeah, for me, I think Kansas is just going to. Like, Greg, you said it's going to be a close game. I think for the first half it'll be close, and then I think just the talent and then just the rebounding are just going to take over, and it's going to be a 15 to 20 point game by the end of it.
Yeah, like I said, it's all about if Eastern Washington could hit their shots from the outside. If they try driving, it's not going to end up well. Kansas is going to, if that happens, Kansas is going to jump out to a real early lead, and they're not going to be able to get it back.
Let's move on to the number 7 versus number 10. I wonder if we're all going to be on the same side for this one. We're going Oregon Ducks against the VCU Rams, green and white versus black, gold, and white. Shaka Smart's former favorite team. The Oregon Ducks, the coach, white t-shirt, white dress shirt, green tie, always. It's all he wears. He represents well. The VCU coach, no idea what his name is. Every picture I saw on the internet, his shirt was soaked in sweat. Guarantee you he changes it.
That's my kind of coach right there. My kind of coach right there.
Personally, I'm going to go first. I'm calling for the upset. VCU, I love them. I don't think that Oregon they didn't do anything to impress anybody. They had a very quiet 20-6 season. I think I watched maybe one Oregon Ducks game.
Mm-hmm.
They've just been, their overs hit like crazy. 17-9 to the over. Just a little food for thought. I think maybe the only way I see VCU not winning this game is if Oregon just runs the score. They just can't miss. But VCU's a top 35, I think, defensive efficiency team. So I'm on VCU, guys. Greg, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I'm going for the upset here. I think VCU. I don't want to say that they're the overall better team. Oregon has some good aspects to their game. They have a lot of upperclassmen presence, transfer presence in Figueroa. But I think the VCU pulls this out. I think they play good defense. I think their offense is enough. And the way that Oregon played in that Pac-12 championship game, it was real disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, Pac-12 semifinal game, should I say.
I know what you meant against Oregon State.
Yeah.
Something that I did overlook in the Pac-12 because I didn't really watch much of it because I think it's a bullshit conference. It's just full of frauds. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion has been my personal opinion for years. Oregon State apparently was a moneymaker in conference play, and I completely missed it. So by the time I found out, they were already playing in the semis, and it was too late. There's no money to be made. Morgan, what do you got for us in this game?
I, too, am on VCU. I think, just as I'm going to spout off in a second, just looking at their statistics, you could very much make a case that these two teams could flip 7 and 10 seeds. VCU could be a 7 seed. Mm-hmm. Every statistic that I am looking at, whether it's offensive or defense, favors VCU. Average scoring margin, assists per game, rebounds per game, offensive percentage. We'll go to the defensive side, points per game allowed, field goal percentage, offensive rebounds allowed, defensive rebounds allowed, blocks per game, steals per game. Everything leans VCU. So I like VCU to win this game.
Yeah, I think I do agree. Like they should have been swapped. So I was a little shocked. Like obviously, I've been looking at the bracketology for weeks. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna put Oregon at a 7 or an 8. It's just not gonna happen. They're just a mediocre at-large team who haven't really played anybody. But here we are. So I'm looking for another upset. The last one in the Western region. The Iowa Hawkeyes going against one of my favorite teams to watch on YouTube. The Grand Canyon Antelopes. We got black, yellow, and white jerseys against the purple and white, and I know Morgan loves the purple jerseys. Big purple fan. The coach for Iowa, he's like a young Jim Boeheim. He's got 2 kids on the team. He rocks a lame, boring suit. But the problem is, the coach from Grand Canyon, Can't even afford a suit. His uncle gave it to him 20 years ago. This guy's he's a young coach. It looks like he's always confused. Always confused. Always like questioning a call, like got this little, what are you doing? What is that? Kind of look on his face. I don't trust him. But Morgan, I want to ask you a simple question. Could the purple jerseys prevail and pull the upset against an Iowa team who can't play no damn defense?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no chance. This is a very one-sided game. I love purple so much, but it's the exact same thing as I just said with the VCU Oregon game. Every statistic, offensive and defense, leans Iowa significantly, and there is no way a Player of the Year candidate is going to allow his team to go out in the round of 64.
That's fair. That's fair.
Plain and simple.
No, that's
Keep it simple, stupid.
I'm telling you, man. Some of these things, you're just like, yeah, you're overthinking it.
Yep.
You know, purple jerseys, not enough. Greggy,
Not enough for me.
Yeah, I am on the same side. I think Iowa wins this game. I think they do it pretty handily too. The only caveat that I saw was that Grand Canyon holds teams to 29% from 3-point range, which that's a solid percentage for defensive metrics. But I think the volume is going to be too large, and I think they shoot it. Iowa, that is, shoots it too well to be able to contain it to that low of a percentage. Grand Canyon's forward, he might even be their center at the point. They have a relatively small team, but he's second in the country in field goal percentage at 70%. All depends if Luka Garza feels like playing a little bit of interior defense.
He never does.
No, he never does. But he likes to play offense. That's what he does real well. So
Number one scorer in the country.
Incorrect.
Yes.
Luka Garza is not the number one scorer in the country.
Go look it up.
I did before the show.
Who is?
I'll pull it up right now, boys.
It is Max Abrams of Oral Roberts University.
Oh, okay. How many points per game is he scoring?
24.2.
Wild.
It is Max Abrams. Actually,
How
Luka Garza is actually in third.
Mm-hmm.
How much is Garza?
23 point something.
23.7. Max
Out
Abrams.
of all the other relevant teams on that list,
the next most relevant player,
Lauren Christian Jackson,
probably Io DeSunmo at 21 points per night, or 20.9.
So no other team that plays anybody. Yeah, he's the best scorer in the country. What you saying?
Right. In this game, he is the best scorer.
I love it.
Oh, shoot, I'm on 10% here. This is not good.
Oh boy, we're gonna lose Greggy for a bit, and he's gonna come back most likely.
Mm-hmm.
We're going before we get into the. I'm on Iowa. It's as simple as that. They're just better. They're not good enough to make a championship, but they're good.
It's a meat and potatoes pick.
Yeah, sometimes it's that easy. Greg, why don't you try to switch to your phone and get it set up?
I tried. I couldn't get on Skype.
Oh my god, this kid. Whatever. You can take your headphones out and plug it in. We'll deal with it. This is a fucking 3-hour show. We're almost 45 minutes in. We'll do what we got to do. We're gonna keep on rolling. If you're listening, that was the end of the West region. We're gonna be moving on to the region number 2, aka the East, aka the one that's right below the West region. If you're looking at your bracket, we're busting down these brackets, boys and girls. It's gonna be simple. We're gonna try to find these sleepers, try to find these teams that you've never heard of that we've been betting on all year. Quick shout out to all the dads watching us on the big screens, and quick shout out to all the MILFs allowing them to use the living room TV. Without further ado, enough about the men of the house and the MILFs of the house. Let's go into the East region. We got the number 1 seed in that region, the Michigan Wolverines, rocking the yellow and blue. Who I think should win Coach of the Year, but probably will lose to Mark Few, is Juwan Howard. He stays classy. You never know what he's going to wear. It's Michigan for me. Whoever they play. It doesn't matter who they play.
Agree.
in the
I
first
have
round.
Michigan as well.
Agreed.
Yep, I will say, moving on, we'll talk about it more during the week. They will run into trouble in the second round, especially if Livers and Stephen A. Smith Jr.'s, a.k.a. the bastard son of Stephen A. Smith, as Greg likes to call him, if they play or not, they're both injured. I know Livers isn't due to be back till the Sweet 16, so just a little side note for you guys making the brackets out there. Um, let's move on. Let's move on. It's enough Michigan talk. They're a great team. LSU, number 8 seed, going against St. Bonaventure Bonnies. Uh, go Tigers. Go Tigers. Against I didn't know that the Bonnies were named the Bonnies, but I guess they're little housewives. I'm not sure what a Bonnie is. Um, the LSU coach always matches the home and away jerseys with a striped tie or a polka dot tie. And the same Bonnie's coach wears a nice suit. Problem is, not tailored. Sleeves too long. Don't like it. Uh, Tigers are a top offensive team in the country. They're averaging almost 80 points a game. Cameron Thomas is a freshman to watch. He's top 10 in the country in scoring. But St. Bonnie's just a good team all around. They don't do anything very well. Like they're not like top 10 in any category, but just they're top 30 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Morgan, give me your pick. Speak to me. Do we see an upset?
We talking to me? I'm sorry,
I
my head.
said Morgan.
Okay, I thought you did my headset. Just my AirPod just fucked up. I like LSU in this game. I think this actually is going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be like a 74-72 score. We're looking at. Um, I'm looking at the stats of these two teams. Again, one of the big things for me, first off, is talent. LSU has a significantly higher level of athleticism and talent overall than St. Bonnie's does. Next, you kind of get into it. Their statistics are very, very equal to one another, but LSU does one thing much better, and that's just flat out score. They score the ball and they make a significantly higher percentage of their shots than St. Bonnie's does. Right now, we're looking at about a 3% difference in their field goal percentage. That's big, especially this time of year where possessions are going to be limited and you're cutting down turnovers. Hopefully, you got to make the shots you take. So I do like LSU in this one.
Greg.
Yeah, I'm on St. Bonnie's.
Ooh.
I'm on
Tell us
Bonnie's.
why. I'm interested why.
I'm
Did
on
you
the
move?
Bonnie's. Yeah, I moved over to where I had the charger.
Got you. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I mean, when I was charging before in chat, I was still losing battery. So let's see how this goes. But yeah, I like the Bonnies. I know LSU can score the ball. Bonnies can score the ball too. What they do is play better defense than LSU. Uh, sure, it's major conference versus mid-major, but we know that conference, the American Atlantic, they have some good teams in there, and Bonnie's won. They won it. LSU came close today. They really did, but I think the Bonnies just hold them down, play good enough defense to take this one.
Interesting. So what you're saying is you think that the Bonnies are just as good as Alabama.
No, that is
Okay.
not.
So, but you think that they could score with Alabama?
That is not what I said either.
Okay. I'm just trying to
I mean,
compare two teams.
if we're talking in terms of that, if you guys remember back to earlier in the season, Alabama beat LSU by 40.
Yeah. Yeah. They're better. LSU's a much better team than they were in the beginning of the year. That's for sure. I remember that game specifically.
Yeah.
Because I bet on LSU. And it was just a letdown game for them. This one, I don't think will be.
Yeah, I remember the game. Herbert Jones had like 8 threes in the first 10 minutes of the game.
That's brutal. Kid can ball though. We'll get to them later. We'll get to them down at the bottom of this bracket. I'm on the Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go
Tigers. Go Tigers.
Joe.
Joe Burrow.
I think they're just a better offensive team. I think that they're the more talented team I think Cameron Thomas just puts him a little bit over the top as a go-to guy. So I'm taking that. That's what I'm going with. And, I told Morgan before I have them moving on in the next round as well against Michigan with or without Livers and Stephen A. Smith Jr. And for those of you who don't know, it's Eli Brooks, Stephen A. Smith Jr. Now our favorite 5-12 matchup again. Colorado versus Georgetown. Colorado Buffaloes versus Georgetown Hoyas. No idea what a Hoya is. First question for you guys. Either one of you can tell me what a Hoya is. I'll bet you $10.
I know what like a Goya bean is.
That ain't the same.
Uh,
I don't know what it is. So if you tell me the wrong answer,
I'm pretty sure it has something to do with a law student.
Well, whatever it is, they're on a roll. Coming out of the Big East Championship, Colorado wearing the black and gold.
Fun
the
fact,
white and
I
gold.
just found out what a Hoya is.
Tell me.
Hoya is an ancient Greek word that derivates. Oh man, comes out. I don't know what I just tried to say. It comes out to mean small stones or rocks. Basically, the
small
Georgetown
balls.
rocks. Yeah.
Oh boy, what a weird fucking name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I've just officially changed my pick based on that.
Their chant for Georgetown is Hoya Saxa, which means what rocks.
Not Georgetown with that. that. The suit game. Let's get into it. Everybody knows who the coach of Georgetown is, except for people who work at MSG. Apparently, Patrick Ewing was spotted at MSG. Nobody knew who he was. His suit is so big, Craig was swimming it.
It's criminal.
It truly is. That's a story for another day. How dare MSG? The coach from Boulder, from Colorado. If you don't know, University of Colorado is in Boulder, which is the weed capital of the world. So that suit, I'm sure, reeks of weed when he walks down Pearl Street in Boulder. Colorado is a deep team. They run 10 deep every night. They can go 12 deep if they have to. They're one of the slowest teams in the country, but very, very efficient while doing it, as most teams are who run at a slow pace. They find the right shot. They make teams work on defense. But Georgetown's on a run, and when you disrespected future Hall of Famer Patrick Ewing, it's a recipe for disaster, I think. Let's kick it to Greg. Greg, what do you got in this game?
Yeah, so I've officially changed my pick, not because of the Hoya's name or their
Hoya Saxa.
Yeah,
that's exactly why I changed
those. Just for the fact that I think, as good as Georgetown has played, I think it's going to come to an end here. There's no reason for them to be in this tournament. Mm-hmm. If they didn't win the tournament, I don't even think they'd be in the NIT.
They wouldn't be.
So I think Colorado's just a much better team. I think they're going to be real pissed that they let Oregon State skate by them. And I think that they're out for blood in this game. Beat up on the team that they should beat up on. And then take it home.
Morgan.
Hoya Saxa. I'm on Georgetown. I am a big proponent of the team that gets hot at the right time. I love it. And I said earlier tonight, Billy, I don't know, Greg, if you were in yet, I'm happy to see Georgetown back in the tournament. Mm-hmm. It just seems right because my first memories of me really starting to watch college basketball, get into it, are those Georgetown teams getting in there and kind of being a great, just being a pest in the Big East, running with UConn constantly, seeing great talent coming out of Georgetown. We talked the other night about, it was like the 30th anniversary of the UConn Georgetown Ray Allen versus Allen Iverson game. I loved Jeff Green in college. He was one of my favorite players to watch. I always wanted him to play for the Sixers. Would have been awesome. Big thing here is Georgetown is a better defensive team than Colorado is by a pretty decent margin, actually. Their offensive rebounds per game is better than they get for themselves. They average more than 4 rebounds than Colorado does on the defensive end as well. They're almost 2 full blocks more than Colorado. They're almost a full steal per game more, and they foul less than Colorado does. So all that to me just leads to a close game that I think Georgetown can win at the end of it. I think you're going to have such an emotional high right here. You're going to ride that momentum at least one more round.
I don't hate those statistics, but I will say when you do run at a faster pace, you will get more statistics.
That's true. Fair enough.
So I think I like I said, I changed my pick. Whatever Hoya Saxo means, fuck
Or
that.
Saxa.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I could
off of it.
see the upset happening for sure, but I
Would I be
I don't
shocked?
think it will happen.
Yeah. Would I be
wouldn't
shocked?
be shocked
No,
if it happened. I would not be shocked, but I don't think it will.
me either. I'm taking Colorado. I'm taking the Buffaloes. I'm taking the weed smell. Something smells a little smelly in here.
Smelly smell.
Boys, anybody fading Florida State against
Nope.
UNGC?
No,
Nope.
We can skip that one, right?
That's an easy one.
Okay.
I think
I just want, just in case, you never know. There's people out there that fade all 1 seeds. That ain't us. That's going to be a 30-point game. They're going to win by 30. We'll talk more about Michigan State versus UCLA, which will be the play-in game. But who you think will win that game? This way we can get into the who's going to play BYU. Greg.
Michigan State.
Morgan.
Michigan State.
All right, we're all on Michigan State. I actually love to see that because I already bet on Michigan State.
I definitely think Michigan State's moving on here. Michigan State, we've said 1,000 different times. It's not March. It's Izzo. It's Izzo season. Right here, right now.
I can promise you that Tom Izzo is wearing the same hat as me. We sleep in May. Promise you. He's sitting at home, sitting in the hotel, watching tape, wearing this hat.
This is where it happens right here. Izzo's going to get him through. I think Izzo could take him to the Sweet 16. I really do. But that's for another conversation.
Greg, who you got moving on? BYU or Michigan State?
I would have BYU moving on.
Interesting.
I would. I think Michigan State could possibly make a run, but it would take a lot for me to change my mind, and it would take way too much overthinking. I think BYU's offense is too good. I think they just have it. I think BYU has a better chance of making a run than a lot of other teams.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for the fact that they could put the ball in the bucket, and I don't exactly remember how they're.
I don't think they play very much defense.
No, they don't. But
that conference just doesn't play defense.
No, they definitely do not. But they could outscore Michigan State. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I just worry that BYU outside of Gonzaga and Pepperdine, like I consider Pepperdine a good team. A lot of people don't. But besides those 2 teams, they don't play anybody. And Michigan State has some big wins recently. Yeah, they didn't win the tournament like I thought they would. It was a long shot, but I do think that they have a little bit more momentum. BYU had that game against Gonzaga and just they wound up almost not even covering the 14.5 points. So I'm going to be on Michigan State. I think they're just a better coached team. As far as obviously you got for the casuals out there, aka Sean, Mr. Free Labor. I don't like a Cougar. Give me the Warrior and the Spartan.
I mean, BYU did beat St. John's and San Diego State.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give him that.
Michigan State beat Michigan.
That is true.
St. John's isn't in the tournament.
Just saying. And if I'm not mistaken, did Michigan State take down Illinois as well?
Yes. Same week. In the same week.
I'm not saying they don't have it in them. I'm not saying they don't have it in them.
No, I think if UCLA somehow beats Michigan State, which I don't think they do, but I don't even really know why UCLA is going to be on this play-in.
I feel like this conversation would be completely different if BYU didn't forget how to shoot in the second half against Gonzaga.
Well, they wouldn't be on the 6th line if they forgot how to shoot against Gonzaga.
I think they probably would be.
You beat the number 1 undefeated team in the country? I don't think so. That's a story for a different day.
I mean,
There's
Oklahoma did the same thing, and they should be a 3 seed, but yet they're still a 4.
Who?
Oklahoma State beat Baylor.
They should be a 3 seed.
I know, but they're 4.
There's something fishy about that. We'll get into that when we get over there. Because I do want to touch upon that because I think it's a little fishy. Let's move on. The Texas Longhorns are against Abilene Christian. Love Abilene Christian. The Wildcats. You have that ugly Texas Longhorn orange against guess what, Morgan? Sexy purple. A little silky purple. Shaka Smart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like his hair. Don't like his hair.
Weird hair.
Dude, it's so weird. I'm so used to him being bald. But then you go to Abilene Christian. This guy has hair like he was a Christian minister in the 1950s. And Joe Golding, weirdest dude I ever looked at today. I looked at every single coach's face. Ugliest dude I saw today. My one take, I will say, Texas wins this game. I do think that Abilene Christian covers this game. They can score with the best of them. Mm-hmm. But if you're betting when, take the points to the Wildcats. That's all I got, boys. Let's kick it to Morgan. Maybe he's got a stat for us.
Yeah, so this game's interesting to me because I'm very torn, honestly. Very torn on this game. My gut, what I've seen says take Texas. Texas is a better team. However, when I dive into it statistically, and just knowing that there always is a team, a 3 seed or something big that goes down early, I think I'm going to ride Abilene Christian. I'm leaning them right now. I'm looking at their statistics and everything, and realistically, they are better than. Granted, I know their competition is different. They're better than Texas in almost every defense and offensive statistic. They score more points. Their margins are better. Their assists per game are significant. Abilene Christian has almost 6 more assists per game than Texas does. Their field goal percentage is better. Their offensive rebound percentage is basically the exact same. They turn the ball over the less. They give up 9 less points per game. And they get 4 more steals per game than Texas does on the defensive end. It's a tough one. You want to lean Texas as the better team, the more talent, but I think this is a primed upset spot right here, and I think I'm going to go Abilene Christian.
Greg, speak to me. Speak to him.
I disagree. I think Texas is going to take this game. It wouldn't surprise me if Abilene Christian covers, but Texas is going to take this game. Fact is, we'll go back to the skill point of view. They have NBA caliber players at all the positions. Jericho Sims, he's an NBA player. I'm forgetting the name of their other forward. NBA caliber. Yeah.
Greg Porter.
Jones, right?
Yeah.
Greg Jones. Yeah, NBA caliber player. It's going to come down to the skill level, and sure, Abilene Christian has all of those stats over them, but the disparity of their conference is ridiculously different. Mm-hmm. When 70% of your conference is actually in the NCAA tournament, I can completely understand why the stats are what they are and why they look so different.
Speaking of which, we're both wrong. It's Greg Brown.
Yeah, Greg Brown. Okay. The only competition that they had this year was, Stephen F. Austin. Who else?
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. They're playing, Corpus Christi, Texas A&M, times a year.
Yeah, this
The
is
disparity
usually
is way too different.
the bid that Stephen F. Austin gets. It's right here. So
Mm-hmm.
you see Stephen F. Austin most years in this spot at the 14, 15, playing Duke or playing somebody, and they just roll.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like just I do know just because I've watched a lot of Stephen F. Austin over the years in the tournament, they don't score very much. I think that this is just a bad matchup for Abilene Christian. Texas can score; they can put up 80 points, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
If they were going into Kansas, I could see an upset just because I know Kansas struggles to score. Yeah, there is a talent disparity, but the reason why the line is only 8, I think 7.5 or 8, is because they know both teams can score.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Abilene Christian shoots well from 3, but Texas wins this game. Like I said, I'm going to be on the Wildcats to cover the game, but let's move on. Let's get over this to our favorite team. The Yukon Kemba Walker Huskies going against the Maryland Terrapins. Morgan, tell me what a terrapin is.
A terrapin is a little turtle.
Yep, I wanted to see if either one of you knew. Not everybody knows. The blue and white jerseys going against the red, orange, and white jerseys for those MILFs at home. Uh, the Hurley family, basketball royalty to me. I love them. You never know what this guy's going to wear. He could show up in a T-shirt. It doesn't matter. Turgeon, he's got an expensive suit. He pays for it on layaway because he never know if he might get fired. Maryland's one of the streakiest teams in the league. They're either very, very good or very, very bad. Like many others, UConn broke my heart losing to the Hoyas. I needed them. I had a
Or
perfect.
Saxa.
Stop.
That is now something that I will say at every opportunity. So just
fair. It's fair, I guess.
I have to do it.
UConn plays great defense. They don't score a lot. I think I won't even tell you what I think yet. I'll let Greg tell me what he thinks first, and I'll let Morgan tell me what he thinks first. Because this game is tight for me. It's a little tight for me. Greggy.
All right. I am going with UConn in this game. Line's tight, 2.5. Vegas expects it to be close. I could see it being close. I hate Maryland. This is not the Anthony Cowan, Mello Trimble Maryland. This is the Eric Ayala run Maryland that can put up a fight with Michigan one day and can get blown out by Rutgers the next.
It's wild.
It's a wild day and night thing with them where you're blind and you don't know if it's day or night. So you have no idea what kind of product you're going to get out of them. I am going to go with the more comfortable side in UConn, and I think that, Book Night just carries them to the next round.
Morgan.
I like UConn as well. I agree a lot with what Greg just said, and Book Night being the big difference maker here. Maryland, I don't trust Maryland the slightest bit. All the statistics lean UConn's side, whether it be points per game. There's literally nothing that shouts Maryland has a shot at this one. Defensive stats lean significantly more towards UConn as well. They give up less per game. They hold opponents to an effective field goal percentage of 46%. They are doubling what Maryland's output is in offensive rebounds per game, so they're going to get a ton more chances. UConn all day.
Great. Love it. I'm taking Maryland. Fuck you both. You're both shooting under 50% for the year. Taking Maryland. I was waiting for both of you to agree, for me to disagree. Give me Maryland.
Old strategy.
Big players step up in big moments. I love Book Knight. He didn't step up in the big moment. He let me down against a bad, bad team. A team who has no business being in the tournament, as we mentioned before. Give me Aaron Wiggins, probably the better brother, and give me Eric Ayala. They're both streaky. Listen, you know what you're going to get. I only need to be hot one night. I don't think they're going to win the tournament.
You don't know what you're going to get.
I know. Give it to me. I'm asking them. I'm asking them real nice. Give me it. I
Send them
want
a
to fade
nicely
you
worded
guys.
letter, maybe.
What?
Send them a nicely worded letter. Maybe they'll do it.
I'll send them a tweet, bro. It's the 21st century. I don't. I'll be like, listen. I really need you guys. You know, both these guys are in my bracket. They don't trust you. They don't believe in you. But me, I believe in you. Just one game. That's all we need from you guys.
Maybe that'll get it done.
Yep. You know, it's just a little different. After what you kind of did to me, I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. They broke my poor little heart. I had little left, and that's what they did with it. Um, moving on. The last game in the what is this? Which bracket is this? The South. What are we at?
East. This is East.
We're in the East. I don't remember. Uh, Bama versus Iona. Roll Tide. For the record, no idea what that means. Going against the Gales. Red and white versus the red, gold, and white. Nate Oates. I love him. Love Nate Oates as a coach. He could possibly be the basketball coach version of Nick Saban in a couple years. No nonsense. Expects perfection. He does. He does. He absolutely does. You're laughing, but it's true. And going against the cheater, Rick Pitino. But, is he a cheater? Absolutely. But has he brought 5 different teams to an NCAA tournament? Absolutely. The guy can coach. He was at an interview today on ESPN. He was wearing a nice suit. They asked him, "Hey, how many suits do you bring in?" Because they're a 15 seed. Iona is not a big school. They've never won a game in the tournament. He said, "I brought 8 suits. Got to make the kids believe." That's something you don't hear every day. You don't hear a 15 seed bringing 8 suits for a 3-day weekend. What's he going to do with the rest of the suits? He plans on wearing them. But
Salvation Army.
Yeah, selling him to Salvation Army. Get a little salvation for himself being such a cheater. I will say this is the highest scoring game of the weekend. Easily. This number is set completely wrong. I can't wait to get into it on Thursday. This number is going to be up 9 points by then. So you might want to take it now, I think. Personally, it's just my personal opinion. Side note, Alabama is 19-0 now officially after today when scoring at least 80 points in a game. Either one of you taking Iona for the upset?
No.
Me either. Me either. It's like a good story about the 8 suits. Just wanted to tell it.
Yeah. Good for Rick.
Yeah. Morgan.
Good
No, not a chance. No shot. No
All
way.
right. So that was Morgan. What that was the East.
That was the East.
East is done. Boys and girls, breaking down brackets with Ben Zagnall. We're gonna go into the South next. Shout out to I'm gonna keep saying it, boys. Shout out to all the dads watching on the big screens. Shout out to the MILFs. Let them use the living room in the recliner. Gotta love it. Region 3, Baylor Bears. Anybody beating them in round 1? Not a shot.
No.
We'll mention though. Sean's not here. This joke would have worked phenomenally. I was waiting for this joke. The hairline on the coach of the Baylor Bears is 10 times worse than Sean's. But he's also a big striped tie guy. I love to see it. They're a much better team. We're moving on.
I do, but actually, before we go on real quick, just something on Baylor that I find very, very interesting. Did you know that Baylor was the number 1 3-point percentage shooting team in college this year?
Yes.
Hitting 41.8%. Well, fun fact about that, since 1987, only 6 teams have won the title and shot less than 35% from 3.
Ooh, I like that. Do we know what Gonzaga shoots?
I can tell you because I have it pulled up. Just let me find them.
I love Baylor. When Macy Teague hit 11 to 12 threes the other night, I was like, oh boy, this team is legit. Jared Butler. Go ahead.
Gonzaga, 36.5%.
Oh, they're above the threshold.
They're over it.
I love it.
There's some teams down there not above the threshold.
Oh boy.
Maybe a little team that I'm a big fan of, Texas Tech.
No.
Not above it. Arkansas, not above it.
Arkansas just launches them though.
Oklahoma State.
Bama's above it, right?
I'm looking for Bama right now. Oklahoma State, though, a team that we like. Not above it.
Oh.
Let's see. Alabama. You keep talking. I'll keep looking.
Why don't you just go to the top and press sort? What's your deal?
That's a good idea.
What's your deal? Have you never used this before?
Alabama is barely above it at 35.2%.
We love it. We love to see it in my Final Four. We love to see it. Moving on, 8 versus 9. Our least favorite team, UNC Tar Heels, going against
100% least
Wisconsin.
favorite team. 100% the best game of the round of 64, though.
Easily. Actually, I don't know. There's another game in this bracket I do love, and I can't wait to watch. We'll get into it because we're on opposite sides. Going against Wisconsin Badgers. UNC, they are so conceited that they named a color blue after themselves. Tar Heel blue. I hate it. Hate to see it. Wisconsin, red and white. Very boring. Coach UNC's wearing the same suit for 20 years. Wisconsin's coach, it's very funny you made us. This may be the conference of the Sean receding hairline. This guy always wears a red tie. His first name is Greg. Greg Gard. Don't like that.
Great name.
I don't like that at all.
Don't like it.
I don't like either the first or the last name.
It's a great name. Double G's.
Double G's never work out. GG's. That's what that means.
He's going to be
GG's,
saying
you're out of here.
GG's to North Carolina after he loses.
That's what I'm saying. I just lost where I was. Here we're back. UNC, one of the best offensive rebounds in the country. And Wisconsin struggles against good teams. They did it all year. You know, they may have beaten good teams, but they didn't do it cleanly, I should say. You know what I mean? If that makes sense to you guys. Let's kick it to Morgan. Morgan, tell me who.
Yeah,
tell me why.
I hate this. I hate it more than anything. I never want to ever say these words ever again. And I hopefully only have to say it for 1 week because they're going to get spanked by Baylor in the round of 32. But UNC is going to win this game. Every statistic favors UNC on the offensive side. Defense is pretty even, but they do have a significant advantage in the offensive boards. UNC is the best offensive rebounding team in the country. Big difference here. What does Wisconsin not have that UNC has? Armando Bacot. Plain and simple. You have a very good big man down there. And that's going to go a long way in the tournament. A long way to the round of 32, but a long way in this one game at least.
Greggy,
Okay.
what do you got?
I have been tossed up with this ever since I saw that it was the matchup. Went back and forth a couple times, but I think I've made up my mind, and I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'm rooting for you. I truly am.
We both are, because we're both on UNC.
I hate UNC.
hate
We're Duke boys.
Yeah, I know. Well, reason being, UNC doesn't shoot the three well. Not at all. Sure, they have the interior presence to where they can create a few extra possessions for themselves, but Wisconsin has the veteran presence on the court. They have 5 guys that have started over 100 games in their career. They've been to the tournament every year that these guys have been there, and you know, without fault, they win these games. They win these games that they need to. Sure, they make games a lot tighter than they need to be. Going back to that Penn State Wisconsin game last week, that was a weird one. That was a real weird one.
They play down.
But yeah, both us. But I think Wisconsin, with that upperclassman presence, being there multiple years in a row, they know what this feels like. To where UNC does not have that. You know, there's too much turnover in that program. To where these young guys, they don't know what it feels like. Maybe next year, with the year's experience, they make a presence. But I don't think it's this time.
It's going to take me a couple days. I may sway back that way by the time it starts. But for now, I'm on UNC. I don't hate it. Like you said, excuse me. First off, this is one of the 2 matchups. Wisconsin shouldn't be a 9 seed. They really shouldn't.
No.
The team we're going to talk about next, they should probably be in that spot. But it doesn't make any sense to me. it's just one of those things that like, hey, kind of need people to tune in. Got to sell some advertising thing, maybe. I don't know. They were slipping towards the end of the year. Lost a couple of games they needed to win, but not so bad. They fall down to a 9 seed. But things happen. That's the way the cookie crumbled. So for sure, it's gonna be a great game. I can tell you that to be a fact. Now, what I waited for the last 2 weeks now. Colin Gillespie injury was 2 weeks ago. Where Nova would line, and I couldn't be more excited. The fact that I've already placed the bet. Number 5, Villanova Wildcats going against the number 12 Winthrop Golden Eagles. I'll tell you right now, before I go into who's wearing what colors are who, I'm taking Winthrop. I'm not even looking back. Winthrop lost one game this year. They never get respected. It's a good team. They can score. Nova's missing their leader. They're missing their best player. Listen, now I'll get into it. Nova's got a great coach. He does. He wears a shit suit. Typical Philly guy can't had no class.
Oh, I don't know about that. My man Jay Wright has been in featured articles in GQ for how he dresses.
Yeah. Sure he has. Anyway,
He's lost a step since he was at Hofstra.
That's a bold statement.
That's a big fact. He learned how to dress in New York, had to come to Philly just to not remember what it's like. Anyway, the Winthrop coach, I will say this. I looked through 5 pages of Google images on this guy. Not one picture did he have his buttons unbuttoned. On his suit, he always keeps the top button buttoned like he's ready. Like he's ready for a nice photo shoot, looking this way, looking that way for GQ, unlike Jay Wright. I love it. Nova's in shambles. This is one of the 2 teams I wanted Nova to match up with in that 12 spot, 13 spot, wherever it was. Winthrop is the top 30 in total points per game. They're a top 20 team in second chance points. They're a big team, efficient, love it. It's an easy upset for me. Do either one of you guys taking Nova?
It pains me so much for you to disrespect my Villanova team and Jay Wright, who has a case as one of the best, if not the best coach in the country. That being said, I'm taking Winthrop also. It makes too much sense. I'm not that stupid. Everything leans Winthrop, Villanova. I love them to death. They're beat up. They're injured. It's just not the year. It's not their year for them this season. With COVID, with everything that happened, it didn't work out for them. Nova's going to get dominated down low by bigger guys, plain and simple. Winthrop gets 11.2 offensive rebounds a game. Nova gets 7 defensive rebounds. Winthrop averages almost 4 more than Nova does per game. This is an upset for me as well. I hate to say it. This bracket, this region is my least favorite region by far because I have to watch UNC win and Nova lose right next to each other on the bracket. I hate it. The only thing that could salvage it is if Duke was somehow in it, and they're not.
They don't deserve to be in it. Let's be real.
Fuck this bracket. I don't care about the South. Nova's going to lose. I'm upset about it.
Oh boy. I just got word from Greg. I know he's still here. I just got your text message. He is going to be lost in the mix of some of these minutes. We don't know when. We don't know why. So Morgan, keep an eye on him while I keep an eye on the notes. Let's move on. Number 4, Purdue. The Boilermakers. Big Union guys. Going against North Texas. The Mean Green North Texas. First off, I love the name. What color does Purdue wear? Black and white. Gold. One of the best home courts in college basketball. Shame there's no fans there. Going against, guess who? The fucking Mean Green. They wear green. That's it. They only wear one color. They're technically Falcons. Is their team name? They wear mean green on their jerseys.
It's weird. I've never seen a green Falcon before.
That's what I'm saying. One thing I know to be true in this life: death, taxes, Matt Painter. I'm taking Purdue. I'm not looking back. The coach of North Texas, He's got a green tie game so strong a leprechaun would be put to shame. North Texas never gone past the opening round. With that, I'm taking Purdue, not looking back. Morgan. I should go to Greg because he might die.
Yeah, I'm on
R.I.P.
Purdue as well. Yeah, North Texas, they won the conference, but even doing so, tight games all throughout the year. They pride themselves on their defense. They don't score very much, as is the over-under is 125. Purdue has a good defense in and of itself. I don't really see North Texas putting up more than 55 points in this game.
Fair. Morgan, you're on Purdue, right?
I'm on Purdue.
Yeah.
Simply put, the defensive end. Rebounding. Purdue dominates the rebounding.
I don't remember the first guy's first name, but Edie, the freshman, he's like 7'4", 145 pounds, soaking wet.
Like that.
Gotta love him. He's from a foreign land somewhere in Europe.
Might be a relative of Manute Bol, possibly.
No, he's definitely not, because he's somewhere from Eastern European. European. I was gonna say European and Europe got mixed up. Listen, bro, it's 2:09. I've been writing these notes since 6 p.m. I'm ready to go. Let's move on to my favorite game. Hopefully, Greg's still here for that. The game of 64. There's no better game. I promise you. Number 6, Texas Tech going against number 11, Utah State. My Aggies, my favorite team to watch, going against the Red Raiders. Chris Beard is an angry little man. Very, very angry all the time. Very passionate. Loves his team. Will do anything for him. Craig Smith, one of my favorite coaches. Knows how to get the team to play together. They're one of the biggest teams in the country, but he wears what his paycheck allows. If he can't afford the suit that night for the rental, he wears a jumpsuit. No worries. I smell an upset coming. I know Morgan hates this pick, so I'll start with him and then I'll tell him why he's wrong.
Yeah, so since I'm the big stat guy and everything, yada yada yada, I'm looking at my statistics here, and I'm now 50-50 on each side. I love Texas Tech. Texas Tech, for me, as of a week ago, was a big-time Final Four pick for me, and I thought could get to the title game. I still do believe that they could potentially, but as this is not a good matchup. Not in the
Worst matchup
slightest
possible.
bit. And everything statistically speaking, and when I say everything, I mean everything. Statistically speaking, is screaming Utah State. More scoring margin, assists per game, total rebounds. It's a significant number. The only thing really that Texas Tech has going for them is their turnover percentage is better. But defensively, Utah State's a better team. Right this minute, I'm going to lean Texas Tech because I ride with them right now. However, that could flip at literally any second.
Greg,
I can persuade it really quick. I am a battleground state when it comes to this. You can flip me red or you can flip me blue. I don't know which way we're going yet.
I got you. Greg, speak to me. What do you got for me?
All right. Billy, you're going to love it. I'm on Utah State.
Yes! You were convinced the other night, weren't you?
I was about to get to that. That watching them play Colorado State, that did it for me. I was questionable on Utah State. I've seen some really good games by them. I've seen some poor outings by them. They are a good team that I think are getting right at the right time. I think it's a good matchup for them, not a great matchup. Texas Tech, very good team. I think it's a worse matchup for them than it is for Utah State. They want to have the ball in Mac McClung's hand, who seemingly of late cannot hit a three. He cannot. He's got like the yips. He can't hit. He's been getting all of his points at the foul line, which means he's been driving to the hoop. And you know what happens when you drive to the hoop against Kita?
He gets sent back.
It's a block party. Watching him the other night confirmed to me that he's just otherworldly
He's
inside
the best.
the paint.
I've been saying it for months, bro. He's the best player nobody knows.
You have. You absolutely have. I'll give you all the credit in the world for that. I'm going to take Utah State, Texas Tech, early exit.
I love it. I love it. And Morgan, we talked about it. I didn't hate your Texas Tech to the Final Four when they were on the 5 line and when they were on the 4 line, but they were losing some games. They looked pretty bad. And listen, Utah State was the same team that beat San Diego State last year to break the undefeated streak of San Diego State, who was gonna be a 1 seed last year. They you know who they lost last year? Utah State. They lost Sam Merrill, their starting 4-year point guard. They didn't skip a beat. They they shoot very well. They make their free throws. Nemes Keita has more blocks than 250 teams in the NCAA. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's agile. He's one of the best passers in college basketball at 7 feet tall. He's gonna have a nice long career in the NBA once he puts the show on for Texas Tech.
Yeah, he reminds me of a smaller, like Chris Boucher.
I Yes, but I think he's more skilled in the pass.
He, I agree, and they have
On the
different.
defensive end, absolutely.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about in the defensive end. Offensive
Mhm.
is completely different.
Yep. Like you broke it down perfectly where you said it's a worse matchup for Texas Tech than it is for Utah State. Utah State is used to playing teams that are nitty and gritty and play defense. That's what the Mountain West is. Like if you don't belong in the Mountain West if you don't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no ifs ands or buts about it. This game plays right into Utah State, and it's going to be a damn shame when 90% of people have no idea who Utah State is, and everybody loses their bracket because of this. Because Utah State, not only great defensive team, but they're the tallest team in the country. Average height of 6'10". Most of their bench is 6'9" and above. Uh, Bean 6'11", their power forward, phenomenal shooter. Um, Brock Miller, he's dealing a little bit of back spasm. It's my favorite team. I'm gonna talk about him all night if I wanted to. But he looked money against Colorado State
Mm-hmm.
early. He looked good against San Diego State. Um, that's it. The Aggies coming for what was theirs last year. I kept telling Greg, the reason why I was so upset we didn't go to AC because I had the lines were going to be set perfect. That Utah State was going to make a Sweet 16 run, and we were going to make a shitload of money on the money lines. And nobody would have known, and it was ruined. Next game, Greg. I'm still surprised you're here. By the way, number
Yeah.
3 Arkansas going against some toothpaste and Colgate. Um, it's I think Morgan's going against going on the toothpaste, but I'm taking the Razorbacks. Um, Colgate's been in the tournament 3 times and they lost 3 times. But they do cover. They do cover. Both the 15 and 16 team, they've lost by under 10 points. So I like the idea that they cover, but I'm not picking toothpaste over Razorback. Morgan, are you going to be on Colgate, or are you going to sway your
I'm
opinion?
taking Colgate.
Tell me why.
I think this is going to be the highest scoring game by far of round one, or the round of 64. These two teams ranked number 2 and number 5 in all of college basketball in scoring. They run, they get up the court. Offensive stats, though, if you dig into them a little bit deeper, now again, lesser competition, but they lean Colgate pretty significantly. It's four more points per game that Colgate scores. Colgate has 2.5 more assists per game. Their effective field goal percentage is 5% higher. Their turnover percentage is 3% lower. And then on the defensive side, the defensive statistics, geez, I can't talk. This defensive statistics lean Colgate a little bit more. Um, I was watching very intently Arkansas during the SEC tournament. Was not impressed, not in the slightest bit. I put a lot of money betting on Arkansas in the SEC tournament. They hurt me a lot. They did nothing to really show me that they were anything great. I think this is a prime spot right here for an upset. I think that this is going to be because it's going to be such a high scoring game. I think it's going to be close the entire way, and this game will be figured out in the last minute. Yes.
Before I kick it to Greg, Colgate's only played 15 games. I think those stats are a little suspect.
Okay, 15 games for me just means fresher legs, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was a lot of breaks in between and playing a bunch of nobodies playing against the power conference. I don't know. I don't see it. I love the Razorbacks. I think that you just bet them in a bad spot. In a spot that they didn't need to win or really even need to be in that game at this point in the season. They already solidified their spot. That's what a lot of like conference tournament betting is does that team need to win? But anyway, I'll be on Arkansas. Greggy, are you still here with us? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, this is a no doubter for me. It's Arkansas. It's Arkansas for the reason that they played in probably the second best conference in the country this year, and they did a fantastic job in that conference. Colgate, they didn't even play their first game until January 2nd of this year, and those 15 games were all in conference in a 4-team conference consisting of Army, Boston University, and Loyola, Maryland. They played a 4-10 team in the conference finals today.
Yeah. Yep. And they're named after toothpaste.
Yeah, I mean that is a good point. I'm a Crest type of guy, but a team playing in a 4-team conference and only playing that conference and being 14-1, that is not doing anything for me. Sure, they can score, but they haven't seen a team like Arkansas. Not even close. Not even remotely close. I think this game is a blowout. Arkansas could hit 100 points.
I agree. I think you're overthinking it. I think you're diving too deep into the stats. But listen, you're more than welcome. Be our guest.
It has to be upset somewhere.
We've had a bunch of upsets so far.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. Number 7, Florida Gators going against the number 10 VTech Virginia Tech Hokies. Morgan, what the fuck is a Hokie?
A Hokie is someone who makes moonshine up in the mountains.
Oh, really?
I have no idea.
Damn it. I was like, that's pretty cool, man.
That'd be pretty cool. Then cool. Let's find out. Because now I type hickey instead of hokey. A hokey is a hokey bird, which a hokey is another word for a turkey.
Ooh. I don't like that.
That's different. That's different.
Turkey
I haven't heard any turkey teams before.
I will say, I'm going for the coach. Looking at the coaches here, Billy Donovan is not walking through that door for the Florida Gators. I'll tell you that. And on the VTech side, this is a guy before the game even starts takes the jacket off already, but he always keeps the vest on. Classy.
I respect that.
You gotta respect it. Florida doesn't do anything special. They don't do anything great, but Trey Mann is a baller. You have to admit it. They are playing for what's the guy's name? Johnson. What's his first name, boys? The kid who died on the court. Died, but
I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Kenyon Johnson. He was supposed to be the SEC Player of the Year.
Florida.
If he was on this team, happy he's healthy.
Keontae Johnson.
Keontae Johnson. The kid was a baller. Kid's a baller, but unfortunately he's not here today. VTech on their best day can play with anybody in the country. They beat Virginia early in the year. They beat Virginia last week. I'm sorry, but they beat Nova in non-conference earlier in the year. Greg, tell me who you on. VTech and Florida.
I'm on VTech. I think they're too good of a team. They're an aggressive team, strong team. They rebound well. They shoot relatively well. Florida's a bit too inconsistent for me. Like you said, if they had their star player, it'd be a completely different story. This probably wouldn't even be the matchup. But we're here today. This is what it is, and I think Virginia Tech will slide by.
I love it. I'm on VTech as well. Morgan, you taking Florida?
I am not. I am on
Cool.
VTech as well. I think that VTech could find their way to the Elite Eight and maybe run into Baylor right there. I think VTech is a very good team. I know, as you guys both have already said and everything. It's just been a lot of a circumstance kind of stuff with them and why they're not up higher. Um, it's just eye test, plain and simple. I think that they're just better team right now.
Love it. Let's move on. Let's move on to the number 2 team in the in this region, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Excuse me. Going against Oral Roberts. More Golden Eagles. There's like 7 teams in this tournament this year named Golden Eagles.
We just need Marquette to get in here.
Fuck Marquette, that trash school. Typical Big East school. Bunch of garbage in that conference.
I
Boring
could have
suits.
pretended that wasn't said.
Yeah, I will. Morgan just got up and left because he's very upset with me. Ohio State's coach wears a very boring suit, nothing special. The Oral Roberts coach, he strikes me as a guy who probably has to work a summer job. Probably does this on the side, does it on the weekends. Ohio State has been choke artists lately. Can't finish a game. Stepping in bounds on a pass in, turning the ball over with 1 second left. They've been bad and down the stretch at the end of games. But Oral Roberts, they score a lot. And Ohio State can't play defense. I just don't see an upset. Talent discrepancy. I'm taking Ohio State, not looking back. Morgan.
Agree. I have VTech taking down Ohio State, so Ohio State's going to just roll through Oral Roberts.
I'm currently that's the only part of my bracket that's not filled out. That matchup.
It's a tough one. I hate this entire region, but I think that's going to be a really good game, and I think I agree with you on that. Not filling that part out yet, but Ohio State's an easy pick for sure.
Morgan. I'm sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I'm on Ohio State myself. I think talent prevails. Although Oral Roberts has the leading scorer in the nation in Max Abrams. Kevin O'Banner also shoots. He has 18 points per game as well. So, they can shoot the ball real well. I did watch their game against North Dakota State the other day for the conference title. They did show a lot of inconsistency for the fact that they put up 50 in the first half, and it was a complete polar opposite. Like I said, I like Ohio State to roll in this game, but I do want to throw it out here before the number goes even higher. That the over it's 154.5. You have Ohio State, who already averages 77 points a game, and Oral Roberts, who averages 81 a game.
Take the over.
Take the over. I think Ohio State puts up at least 80. Oral Roberts could easily put up 70 themselves. I think this may be a closer game than Vegas predicts. It's 16.5, but Ohio State it is for me, and get the over while you can at this number.
Yep, I like that. I like that a lot. That concludes, what is this? South bracket? This is South?
Yes.
Speak to me. South, yeah. Speak to me, boys. I need your assistance. That concludes the South. We're about to move on to the West. Shout out to the dads on the TV. Shout out to the Mills letting them. You know the deal. Shout out to Sean, who's going to have his work cut out for him. I promise you. We appreciate it. Side note, I told these boys I put in a 12-game moneyline parlay, $10 to win 27 grand. If that hits, we're starting to pay Sean. Just letting you guys know. He said it was fair.
We will not pay Jared though for birthing of a degenerate.
No, he pays.
He should be paying us.
He definitely should be paying us. Speaking of talent prevailing, Illinois, number 1 seed, going against Drexel. Morgan was high on Drexel, but this is Illinois by 35, 40 points. Kofi Coburn, a.k.a. Cockburn, which is his real name.
It's Cockburn. 100% it's
Definitely
Cockburn.
Cockburn.
They're just trying to keep it PC.
That's what I'm saying. And DeSumo, Coburn, Cockburn, and DeSumo could beat them 3-on-5 because Cockburn and Coburn are two different people now. This is a no-brainer. I'm not even going to send it to these two. They don't deserve to just agree with me because it's too easy.
Wow.
It's too easy. You know what, Morgan? Please tell me you're taking Drexel.
No, I am not.
Okay, then shut the fuck up.
I have a fun little tidbit I want to throw out there.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Jeez, this guy here. Fun thing that I'm going to say now, since you tried to silence me again. Illinois doesn't fall into this category, but it's interesting in the same regard because there's only one team that falls into this category, which is our number 1 seed. Of the last 25 teams, of the last 15 teams to win the title, all of them have entered March Madness with at least 25 wins prior to the first game of March Madness. There's only one team that has that this year, which is Gonzaga. So Illinois, as one of your top your 1 seeds, something to think about. Now, granted, this was a different season than obviously most seasons. A lot of teams didn't play the same game, but stats don't lie.
If I am correct, which I'm almost certain, I just want to be right. Illinois has had 7 losses, right?
Illinois
they have the most losses out of 6. They have the most. They're the most out of all ones.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, I do not think Illinois is the most susceptible to going down.
Me either. Not at all. It's definitely Michigan.
It's Michigan. 100% Michigan is the most susceptible
Michigan's
to go down.
out in the round of 32, boys.
I could see it happen. I could see Illinois potentially going out in the 32. It's a long, much more of a long shot. But I could see
it. That's a lot. It's a lot. This is good. This is a good game though. Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers, the Rambling Man himself, going against the Yellow Jackets.
Rambling Man.
Going against Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets. Fun fact, boys and girls, I am deathly afraid of bees. I no joke.
It is a fun fact.
I will scream like a little girl if a bee gets very close to me. There's very few things I'm afraid of, and bees are definitely one of them.
Funny, I didn't know that.
Want to know something funny, Greg? I didn't know that, and I'm not afraid of bees. So I'm going to bring a jar of bees to the bachelor party.
I'll knock you out, baby.
I'm not afraid of bees either. So
I know.
That works perfectly.
We have some haircuts I want to talk about in this one for the coaches. Loyola Chicago's coach, he's a mid-40s man, but he's trying to rock that Jersey Shore little, you just put the gel and you put your hair straight up. I don't like it. And everybody knows the Andy Reid visor over the 80s perm with the Georgia Tech coach.
Great look.
I love it. Greggy, kick me off. Who do you got in this game? Tell me why.
Yes, sir. I have Loyola Chicago in this game.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I don't hate it. This is a tough game.
It is a very tough game. My heart wants me to take Georgia Tech. I've said it in previous episodes. I'm a big fan of that team. They show a ton of heart. Jose Alvarado, arguably one of my favorite players in college basketball.
He's got heart, man.
Big heart, and he's a baller at that. But I think Loyola Chicago's defense is too strong, although I think Georgia Tech gives them a fight, a real good fight. I think they come out on top. I really do. Side note, apart from just the game in general, the over's only 124.5. I think that's really low.
Yeah, it's gonna head over. Their defense. Both defense teams are very good defensively, but they do know how to score.
Exactly.
They know how to get the line.
I think it's real low. So I would get that ASAP.
Morgan, speak to me.
This one's a tough one. I love Loyola Chicago. However, I'm leaning Georgia Tech in this game. Plain and simple, Georgia Tech is the hot team right now. Played a good tournament.
Very good tournament.
Played a very good tournament. That's pretty much what it comes down to me. I love the team that's coming in playing better basketball, who is a hotter team at the moment.
I am going the same. I am taking Jose Alvarado because he's an absolute dog, and I will never bet against him again. I will do it until I lose all my money. It doesn't matter. I love that man. He cried on national television after beating Florida State, stripping the ball over and over again, leading his team to victory, leading that 80s perm. I love it. I'm taking Georgia Tech, and I'm very excited to see what Illinois versus Georgia Tech looks like.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan's very upset that because I know he's big and a loyal Chicago fan. It does pain him for that pick.
It's tough, but I said a couple episodes ago. I said Georgia Tech for the ACC title. And they were getting hot. They played, like I said, they played a great tournament. I'm okay with it. It's about the big picture now.
Yeah,
I think I mentioned it when we were talking about that I liked Georgia Tech for the tournament and gave their odds, and that was
Are you trying to steal my pick?
no. I mean,
he bet it.
did you bet it? Oh, good for you. I did, but I announced it as one of my picks that I liked.
I announced it with everyone the same day that I put $1 bet on Duke to win the ACC.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was a terrible bet.
It only cost $1.
Yeah,
By
I
the way,
could have set that
I
dollar
am
to me.
open to changing my pick. I am. There's time.
Yeah, me as well. That's a tough game to,
It's
it's
going to be a
hard.
good game.
Like, let's be real, boys. I did once the brackets came out. I just started doing notes. Started doing all the stuff I could do. Figure it all out. Greg was still at work. Morgan was driving home. We're only a couple hours into this.
Mm-hmm.
By tip off, we're gonna have it all ready to go.
Yep.
I'm thinking. I want to be a quick side note. I think we should put out our own brackets once. We're all in the same bracket. I don't want to just do it beforehand. Like the day they're locked in, you can't change them. We should post them on Twitter. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it.
Next game. This game I had a quick little tussle in my mind with, but I came to my senses. Number 5 Tennessee Volunteers against number 12 Oregon State Beavers. The Beavers coming off a Pac-12 championship win, an unexpected one. They were preseason ranked last in the Pac-12. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Boys, do you see an upset? Tell me why if you do.
No. No. Not a chance. Tennessee is significantly better in every statistical category than Oregon State. Oregon State doesn't deserve to even be here. Yeah, they won their conference. Great. Whoop-de-doo. They shouldn't be here. They don't belong.
Greg.
I have the upset.
Oh boy.
I do. I do. I'm open for change, but at this current moment, I have Oregon State. I like this team who is, they're riding high right now. They're on cloud 9. They have nothing to lose. I think they go in against Tennessee, who very questionable team. First month of the season, they're they're up there with Virginia as the top defensive team in the country. And then they start to slip, and it's been that way the past couple months. They lost to Kentucky when they definitely should not have. They've had a couple bad losses on their resume. They almost lost to Vanderbilt without Scottie Pippen Jr. and their other second leading scorer. Mm-hmm. So they're very prone to letdowns.
They play down to competition.
Yeah, they do. And I think Oregon State jumps on that opportunity.
Listen,
I don't hate what you're saying. However, there's one big thing, two big things that really pushed this for me, and it's a couple of players who look like they're going to be top 10 picks in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And skill and talent wins the day. Plain and simple.
The
Springer and
Volunteers
Johnson.
Yeah, Vontae is just too big, too strong, too fast. They're just more athletic, and
We're gonna be singing Rocky Top, baby.
yeah, I tossed and turned with it for about an hour. I had it originally, and I changed it in my bracket, and I'm not looking back. I don't have Tennessee going very far, so it won't bust my bracket if it does. Um, so I'm taking Tennessee. I'm not looking back. If Oregon State wins, good for them. They're gonna get blown out by the next team. That we're gonna talk about, and that's OK State number 4, the Cowboys, going against the Liberty Flames. I did not know that Liberty's team name was the Flames. Very exciting.
Mm.
Yeah, new news for me. Um, I will say, OK State's coach wears a very below average suit for his job. The coach for Liberty Flames is fashionable. He wears glasses for fashion, not for reading. You can tell because it doesn't even look at his lenses in them. Um, to me, boys, I want to talk about this. This game, OK State should be on the 3 spot, like the top 3 spot in the Gonzaga division. They should be the number 1 3 team without a doubt. They just rolled through their conference tournament. They beat Gonzaga. They beat West Virginia. West Virginia's a 3 seed. They just beat them. Makes no sense. They beat them twice in 2 weeks, I think. Um, this is a Kane Cunningham rival party, I think. This tournament. He missed a few games. People started to forget about him. Liberty's a good team. They shoot very well, but they play too slow. Kate Cunningham and company, they're just gonna run them up and down the court. Morgan, you have that stupid grin on your face like you're thinking about taking Liberty.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I actually was just, I was, no, I'm 100% on OK State. I was actually just looking up something interesting. And it is,
Oh, we lost
what are
Greg.
the, yeah. What does it look like for NBA first overall picks in the tournament? What does that look like for them? It's just something I'm interested in. And it's very much mixed results. We don't have, this, you have Anthony Davis's, the guys who win the title. Karl Anthony Towns took Kentucky to the Final Four. Kyrie got Duke to the Sweet 16. But you also have a lot of number 1 overall picks who don't get you very far. Zion didn't take Duke too far. Ben
Zion
Simmons
didn't play.
didn't play. However, let me go.
He
Let me
didn't
keep going.
play. Hey, you don't put that on
Let
Zion.
me
He didn't
continue.
play.
It still counts. Ben Simmons didn't get his team into the tournament.
That team was bad.
It was bad. Markel Fultz played great in college. Washington went nowhere.
Team
Anthony
was
Bennett
very,
at
very
LV
bad.
was not good. Made one round. It's a very much a mixed bag. Granted, the talent level is very different. I think Cade Cunningham is a very good player, and he's going to be a very good pro. 100% on OK State, though. I think we said at the very beginning, I think OK State has a shot to win the whole thing.
Yeah. Like I said before, real quick, Greg is going to be on OK State. I don't know where his reasons why, but I'm assuming he's got to do with how good Kate Cunningham is. And, he's not the only person on that team. When he was down, there was players that came up, stepped up big. For what I had to say before, I told you I don't have Tennessee going very far. I have Oklahoma State beating them. I have Oklahoma State beating Illinois. Listen, they're a hot team. I'm riding the hot hand. There's nothing more to it. I'm 90% of the time, if it's especially like a game like Tennessee, OK State, like this isn't that matchup we're talking about, but I'm taking the best player on the court if I'm tossing and turning. This isn't that case. It's just a shame that Liberty doesn't get to play a team more reasonable for them. They're a very good team. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate the over in this game. I don't have the number, but I promise you it's not high enough because Liberty scores like crazy. Let's move on. Mountain West favorite. Another bet I've already made. San Diego State Aztecs going against the Syracuse Orange. Well, first off, I've been saying this since I was a kid. What kind of bullshit name is the Orange? How they play in the dome. They could be the Syracuse Jets. They could be all this. There's an airport right by. No, they choose the Orange. San Diego State coach often wears a tracksuit versus a dinosaur. who needs his family on his team to be relevant nowadays. Um, listen,
Little
buddy,
buddy ball action.
Buddy Ball, I love Buddy. He's a great player. He is, but he would have a better opportunity to go win a title somewhere else. Is what I'm trying to tell people. He's a good player, great shooter. Could be used on San Diego State. He plays good defense as well. For somebody who never played a game of man to man defense in his life, he played pretty good defense. Um, the zone's not going to work against the Aztecs. They shoot too well. They pass too well. They dribble drive too well. They're a very, very, very solid team, given that they do try to throw the ball off the backboard for an extra rebound when they're supposed to cover and then blow half my bankroll. That's a story for another time, Morgan. Um, I'm on San Diego State. There's no doubt about it. I love this. I already bet it. I bet the 2.5, bet the money line. Morgan, speak to me.
I'm on San Diego State as well. I don't think I'm nearly as confident as you are, though.
You should
I
be.
could see this. Can see this game going either way pretty quickly. I think the one thing that pulls me and leans me much more into San Diego State, however, is their defensive prowess. They're a significantly better defensive team than Syracuse is. Syracuse gives up 70.7 points per game. San Diego State gives up 61.3. Their opponent field goal percentage is about 4 percentage points different. Rebounds lean San Diego State. Now, Syracuse does have some nice things going. They get double the blocks that San Diego State has. They have almost two more steals. They have 5 less fouls per game. So there are some things going. So I could definitely see this go Syracuse's way, but I like San Diego State.
Well, they commit 5 less fouls a game, so they don't play any defense.
That's what the zone will do for you.
Listen, I am a big opposition to the 2-3 zone. If you're
Oh,
gonna
I am too. I hate it.
listen,
Absolutely hate it.
I played basketball most of my life. If you're gonna run a zone, you run a 1-3 run or a box one. That's what you do. You don't want a 2-3. It don't work. The rotate, swinging the ball and skip passing is way too easy nowadays for it to actually work well. And they don't have an anchor down low like they used to. There's no shot. This game's gonna be a 10, 12 point game. It's very easy. This game. Oh, by the way, Greg's got San Diego State. Most likely for the same reasons, because he's a big Mountain West guy now, thanks to me. Next game on the board, one of my favorite teams. I've been telling you for a while. The West Virginia Mountaineers going against the worst team in college basketball history, Morehead State. Greg's Morehead State. Greg will be fading Morehead State in this one.
State. Oh,
Um,
are we sure about that? It sounds like a Greg guarantee.
oh man, we're gonna slander Greg's name when he's not here now. It's so sad.
That's what I'm doing.
Listen, this one's pretty easy. I don't think we really need to touch too much into this. Um,
This is a Mountaineer game.
yeah, it's clear. It's clear and simple. And the next game, let's just get to the next game already. Number 7. I just the
This
one
is
game.
the last probably real interesting game in this
No,
this region.
this game's gonna stink. It's gonna be so bad. Number 7 Clemson against number 10 Rutgers. The Tigers versus the Knights. Orange versus red. The good old rainbow classic. Um, I hate Rutgers. I hate everything about them. They stink. They're good. They stink. They're good. They stink, stink, stink. Then they're good. You never know what you're gonna get. Clemson plays good defense. Um, I don't like either one of these teams. I think they both stink. It's that simple. I don't have stats to back it up. Maybe you do. I know Greg probably
Yeah,
does because he took Rutgers.
there's
Right? Let me double check that. Hold on. No, he took Clemson. I'm sorry.
So a wise man once said, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get," and that's what Rutgers is. I don't know what I'm going to get out of them, but I like chocolates, and they're very sweet. So I'm going to roll with Rutgers. I think Rutgers can win this game, and I think I could be completely wrong. Rutgers could lose by 50, very possibly, but I'm just going to roll with them, take the risk on them. They're scoring more points per game than Clemson is. They score 70 points per game. Clemson's at 65.3. Their assists are pretty similar. They get more. They out rebound Clemson in this one. Their turnover, they turn the ball over a pretty decent amount less. It's an interesting one. Another team where steals. Rutgers gets 2 more steals per game than Clemson does. I'm going to take a chance with Rutgers. It's not going to be, like you said earlier, it's not going to be a game that busts my bracket anyway because the winner, whoever wins this game, I don't have getting past Houston.
Yeah.
So I'll take a risk here and see if it pays off for me.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, on a good night, Ron Harper Jr. is one of the top 25 players in the country. On a bad night, he might as well be playing for Chicago State. When he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's bad.
They're my favorite players.
Listen, I enjoy watching him play.
I love a good emotional roller coaster. That's why I've been in my last relationships.
Last game. Can't believe we made it. How deep are we now? We're 2 hours and 10 minutes into it. This is not as long as the NBA one. I knew it wouldn't be.
It's not.
Because we started later, we tried to rush through it a little bit. We'll have more information as the information comes out. Number
They put
2,
the
Houston.
kibosh on me speaking all the time.
I had
I've
to.
been silenced.
Be here for
I've been
9
muzzled.
hours. Be here for 9 hours.
All right.
Take it on this one. Take it away.
I don't know. I mean, it's Houston. You got me. You got me. You played me on this one. It's Houston. Houston's going to win this game. There's literally nothing else you need to know. This is a guarantee. Houston all the way. In every sense of it, Houston is better.
It saddens my heart because Cleveland State is the team I bet on all year, and I saw this and I said, "Oh, my poor Vikings, those poor little boys down there, down in the cold streets of Cleveland, freezing, wishing they could play Rutgers."
There's nothing good about Cleveland.
Rutgers?
Why would I pick Cleveland State? There's literally nothing good about Cleveland.
No.
Nobody sits there and says, "Oh, hey, hon, let's go on vacation this year to Cleveland." Houston might get some votes. Houston's the fourth largest city in the nation. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Either.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I thought was it L.A., New York, Chicago?
Houston is number 4.
I would have went Miami.
I would have thought Philly would have a chance.
It's kind of small.
I mean, you could even say Dallas.
Yeah,
Seattle.
Seattle. Anyway, we're going Houston.
We're 100%
Greg didn't give me a
Houston.
pick for this game, so I'm just assuming he's going Cleveland State.
Greg did just send us one. He said Houston.
Oh, I thought he was going to go Cleveland State.
Yeah, let's just give him Cleveland State though.
Listen, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I'm excited for the next round.
Yeah,
we're going to be doing this for each round, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we're going to try to do this for every round. See how it goes. Just keep it moving. We'll adjust our picks according. Our brackets will be filled out. I had brackets already filled out. I want to give myself a quick shout out. We did this in the beginning of the year, but it's official. The regular season college basketball handicap championship goes to me. You guys both ended on probably the worst streak that Ben's has ever seen.
I started playing massive cards and I went like on a 5 for 40 stretch, pretty much.
Yep. Morgan went from 10 games above 500 to 20 games under 500 and has now worked his way back to being only a couple games under. Greg went from competing with me.
Had a couple good days there to finish out, luckily.
Yeah, no, listen, man, it's highs and lows. I stay steady.
I had to take some risks if I wanted to take the top spot.
Yeah, Greg was trying to catch me. Shout out to Greg. He was trying to catch me. I know he died slowly, just like he died slowly on making picks. He kind of, he was hitting a couple money line parlays and feeling good about himself, feeling risque, if you will. And next thing you know, he's under 500 too. I'm going to be over 500 all 3 sports, and that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. But, there's still a lot of basketball. Me and Greg have that wager. Most picks correct wins the money. Morgan, it's been fun. It's very late. We both have work. Send us home. Follow me
at get out of here. You can find Greg at Gersh Greg and his 8 other followers. Would love to have you join them. Maybe they'll have a nice little house party, Zoom party one of these nights. It's not going to fill a Zoom room, that's for sure. You can find Billy at BillyFFB. You can find myself at MoWatch26. We are betting the diagonal. Thank you for being here with us this evening, and we will see you Tuesday night for some more picks.
Yes, sir. Best of luck, and I hope we helped you with your brackets. And sorry, Sean, you couldn't be here. Good night.